Hello, hello. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yay. Okay. And you know what's interesting about that? The microphone is not plugged in. It's been giving us some grief. So we're just using the computer microphone and it appears to be working better than the big thing. So, how is everybody doing today? Y'all good? There is excitement in the air here. We are on the countdown to closing, and that is happening on Thursday next week. So, what does that make it? 6 days? And then 12 days till we move. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy about the fact that our valley is typically running about 6 degrees cooler than Phoenix or Chandler, at least. And it means I might actually be able to go sit back outside to eat my lunch again. So, okay. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. So, hello to anybody who is watching us out there. We have actually not had any questions submitted ahead of time, although I did have a conversation with Janet earlier, and we're going to see if we can fix her email. So if you have a question, or if you're working on something and you would like some help with it, let me know. I am actually going to share with you, Sharon, you got to be the spotlighted person right now. Zoom seems to pick somebody completely at random. And I don't know if it's coming up on everybody's screen, but on my screen, Sharon, you are the one. I don't know why. I think that only happens on my screen because over here I can see what's going out on YouTube and Facebook, and it was me. So I just had a really nice good look at you, Sharon. Okay, last Friday we did the Hearts and Stitches kitchen Hearts and Kisses stitch out, and the third one. So everybody who attended, hopefully by now, has got. I think most people were working on a pillow. I actually made two. I don't know why I went down that road. One would have been quite enough, but I did make two. This is the first one, making sure I didn't run over the dog. Who can spot the problem? Let me just, I am going to, because I can't hold it up and unmute you at the same time. If you can spot the problem, feel free to unmute yourself and let me know. It's not a big problem, but there is definitely something. Anybody got it? Not Marilyn, because she already knows what it is.
It's in the upper left corner.
Which upper left corner would be up here?
Yes.
Who is this talking? Sue. Let me. There. Okay. Be more specific. You're in the right neighborhood.
It's in the bottom left-hand corner of the top block, and the second block in that top corner, your colors aren't together. Right there.
Yep. It's not actually, this block is good. It's these two blocks, which are in the wrong orientation. So I don't know if you remember when it was last Friday. I had taken these two blocks off the wall so that I could show you guys something. And then I went and put them back on the design wall so that I could get them oriented correctly. And I made a mess of it. So as it happens, this block, I have to look at it straight on. This block needs to be rotated by, let's see, not that block. This block is supposed to be up here. And this block is either supposed to go over there or over there. I made a real pig's ear of it. It was like after it had been quilted, there was no way of fixing it. So I decided, you know what? I am good with that one being off. The second one, the second one actually went better. So this one has everything going around the way it should do, and I'm really happy with that. Now, I actually took some pictures that Elle put into a little video. So hopefully you've seen that. I think she put it up on Facebook. I had an epiphany that I didn't want to do this joining blocks in a row and then have two long bits. I did it so that block was stitched to that with the sashing here. This block was stitched to the sashing there. This block stitched to the sashing here. This block stitched to the sashing here. And then having kind of a circular thing going with the remaining pieces of sashing. So that looks it's from a distance you cannot tell, but when you're close up, I thought it just looked a little bit more planned. To have a kind of a circular thing going on with the sashing. I cheated because I figured it's going to be a pillow, so I only did sashing on the front, because I was more interested in getting it done fast than having somebody be able to turn the pillow inside out and look at the back. So anyway, that is that. Janet, I see you here, so I'm going to come and ask you to unmute. And has anybody else been experiencing challenge with receiving emails specifically from us? Okay. Because I do know that Kajabi had a bit of an email incident earlier in the week, which threw a lot of people into a lot of confusion. And Janet has been trying to sign up for today's Zoom, and was not getting the link. So, Janet.
Yes, I'm here.
How's it going?
I'm here now.
Now, I know you're up in Canada, but where in Canada are you?
Oh, Ontario, Peterborough, Ontario, near Toronto.
For whatever reason, I thought you were in British Columbia on the West Coast. I don't know
No.
why I thought that. It wasn't until you said you would see me at 3 this afternoon. I was like, what? I thought we were in the same time zone. Anyway, okay. Are you you're on your computer so that we can do a
Yes.
quick share and see what is going on in your email?
Yes, I'm on my computer.
Okay, so down at the bottom of the Zoom window
Yes.
is a green button that says share just
Yeah.
underneath it. If you click on that,
Okay.
and then you should see in the top left-hand corner, screen 1 with a blue outline around it.
Yeah.
And
yes.
then down at the bottom of the screen, there should be a blue button that says share.
Just a minute. Yes, yes, okay.
So click on that share button. Now,
Okay.
before we go any further, are you okay with the world having a glimpse inside your inbox?
Well, yeah, I can't do anything. We'll do it.
Okay, so
No.
open up your email.
Open up my email. My email is open though with you.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll actually click, there you go. Okay, so you got the email, it's got the Zoom link. It's right there at the top.
Yeah,
Do you see?
right here. I've got it marked too. Yes,
Well, the
it's right
red
there.
one is the red one is the one that I sent you from my
That's
other
correct.
email. But can you see two emails above it? You've got the
This one here.
yeah,
Zoom link inside. Yeah, we're live now. Yes.
and I see you have got a bunch of other emails from me.
Oh yeah, I keep them all on. This is my
Yeah.
sewing one.
Um, um, but you've not got okay, let me see. What is the subject line for these Zoom emails? Because that's what I was going to have you search. Hang tight 1 second.
When, okay.
We
Wednesday
are,
was the 17th, and I looked.
let's see, you should have an email. Okay, so to what we were talking about earlier, to search for a message, do you see up above your list? There's a little box that says search for a message. So move your cursor up just a little bit, left, a little bit left. No, you're going too far up. Go back to your top email message.
Just a minute, my top email message. This one here, yeah.
Yeah, now go over to where it says Sarah Vedler on the left-hand side.
Right.
Just above there, do you see that little box and it says search for a message?
Oh yes, okay.
Okay, so click in there
Okay.
and type MEL's get together. So MEL apostrophe S MEL.
What have
You
I
got an
got?
A in there.
E-L apostrophes up here. Oh gosh, this is what I can't.
And then
Apostrophe S. Oh, that's not S. That's apostrophe S. Crepes. Apostrophe S. Yes, Mel's. Mel's.
MEL's get together. Okay. So there's nothing in your inbox. So do you see to the right of where that search thing is? That's
Yes.
it says search in. So click
Okay.
on there
All
and
mail.
click on all email. That's really interesting. Okay. Over on the left-hand side,
Mm-hmm.
can you see it where it says simpatico? Far
Yes.
left.
Yes.
And then you've got inbox, draft, sent items, and junk email.
Yes.
So click on junk email.
Nothing's there. I cleaned that though. No, there's nothing there. And I've got, okay, here's my deleted items, okay?
Okay. So do a search in there for MEL's get together. So you see
Okay.
right above the top message where it says search for message.
Yeah, okay, just a minute, Mel's. Okay, put Mel's,
Yeah, and it's already coming up again and saying there's nothing in there.
search and deleted items. No, what I'll do is search for you. I'll show you. Whoops. Sarah. Ah, isn't that funny? Ah, no, I don't know.
Pop back into the inbox again.
And search
And
your,
type Sarah Badler. Yeah.
search your name.
So the last MEL's get together email that you received was on June 6th. Interesting. Okay. Well, I am going to stop your sharing for now, Janet.
Okay.
This is let me see what I can do, because the messages are going from me to you, but it looks like they're not arriving.
No, but I've had some. You go ahead. Let me get up my other email or my other laptop going, okay? And I can.
Okay, well now you know how to do the searching. So
Yeah.
but if you're using the same email address on both computers,
Uh-huh.
it should all you
It
should
be
have
there.
the same email, but go on your other computer and let me know now that you know how to do the search, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome.
Oh, just one question. Okay. I've changed my mind. I'd like to join the digitizing thing. And
Okay,
is it the 22nd or the 29th?
it's the 29th. So it's actually, we're doing it 2 times, and I'll give you the link in the chat here. And we'll drop it there as well. So if you haven't signed up for our free digitizing class, it is going to be super fun. We have something new coming down, and I'm so excited about it. We are really going to have a ton of fun. So if you haven't registered yet, we're going to be doing the class on Thursday, the 25th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And we're going to be repeating it on Monday, the 29th at noon Pacific time. So if you can't make one of them, hopefully you'll be able to make the other of them. But we're going to have a ton of fun. And I'm going to share with you some epiphanies that I've been having recently. And you never know, you might learn a little bit. But definitely we will have some fun together. So Janet, have you got that link there?
I do. Now, a quick thing for you too. You said a motif for a pattern. What do you want us to pick out or where?
You don't need to do anything. You just need to
Okay.
come.
Okay, good.
You just need to come.
All right.
And yeah, if you have digitizing software, I'm actually going to suggest that you watch and listen first and then think about playing after. If you don't have digitizing software, then that's not a problem.
Okay.
Just come and listen. Okay.
Yeah. And why I asked was because the email today said the 20th, 25 or 20th. Okay. So just check that.
I will. That's not supposed to be okay. I will. Thank you for letting me know about that. Yeah, but the 25th at 9 and the 29th at noon.
Noon. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You
Yeah.
are welcome.
That's great. Thanks.
Okay. Let's see. What is everybody working on? And does anybody have any questions about a Meaning Alive Designs project that you are working on? I think this is actually the first time we have ever not had a single question put forth in advance. So if y'all don't have any questions, we are going to have a really, really, really short call here. Or I can start picking on people that I see have things going on in the background.
Sarah?
Anybody?
Oh,
yes.
This is Judy Wall.
Hey, Judy.
What are those digitizing classes going to be recorded?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I'm going with a friend to a quilting visiting 6 quilting shops, and then the other one I'm coming back for a baseball tournament. So I'm hoping to get on one of them, but I don't know. So hopefully.
Okay, well, just make sure that you're registered for either one of them. And if you
Okay.
can't make it live, we will definitely have a recording, but you want to make sure that you watch the recording within 48 hours.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you much. That
Okay.
shouldn't be a problem.
You are welcome. Okay. Patricia, do you mind if I come and pick on you right now?
No, I'm happy to
Hello.
talk.
I was wondering how you got on with your pillow.
I'm still, I got your email and I appreciate you so much, but I'm still struggling. I was just working on it now, trying to get it. And I think what I've done finally is get the multiple the 5-inch blocks. I have one of them quilted. And so, but positioning them, I think what I've decided to do is put the ones that have the one color of dark and light at the top, and then one down, and then the other color that has the dark and light down the bottom and one up. And then I can actually see your diamonds. I can see it going that way. When I mix them up, the colors are, I mean, they're just too different. I can't make them merge.
Yeah, you know what? I think you've come up with a really cool plan.
So
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I did quilt one, and it's great once I get it in the hoop. I did use the template, but my my machine didn't like that hoop at all for that little block. It wanted me to use a little hoop for that little block. So I finally gave into it. I know there's ways in the software that I could have changed the hoop, but I couldn't figure it out. And so without going back to the software, which I don't own, I don't pay for the software. So I went ahead and just made, like you talked about, I made the hoop so that it would support the block. Here, I'll show you.
Now, remind me which machine you're using to do the stitching on.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a bit of a pain to do it, and it's a bit of a pain to get it set up. But I think but I got it. And when
Okay.
I did the design, I checked the corners, and they're all good. I haven't done this one yet, but that's how I decided to do it. But then the
So
other
remind
one, I have
me that
to
you're
do
using.
the two together. I have that one set up with the plastic, like you taught us.
Okay. Which machine are you using?
Epic 3.
Anybody else have an Epic 3? If you can unmute, or let me just pop into gallery. Whoops, Daisy. Didn't want to do that. Oh, didn't know I could do that.
I know it's doable. It's just my inexperience with doing it, and it's the fact that I don't own the software. And when you don't pay
need the
them monthly,
software. You should be able to change the hoop on your machine.
and I should be able to, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out where to go. I tried all the helps and everything. Once it
That's
was a
why I'm
design that was already
wondering.
in there.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if there's anybody with the Epic 3 or a similar machine that knows how to tell the hoop machine you've got a different hoop on. It's the machine should tell you, or it should figure out based on which hoop you've got.
Yeah, well, it came in. I had brought it in through Sonet, and then sent it to the computer, sent it to my machine. And so and I can't even send it anymore. I have to put it on a jump drive. It's a problem with Sonet because I won't pay them. But anyway, when I sent it, it chose its own hoop. Now, had I caught that in the beginning, I could have changed it in the software before it sent it. Then I would have it right. But on the machine, I should be able to change it, and I'm sure there's a way. It's just my skill level.
Are you in our Facebook group?
I think so.
So pop into the Facebook group and ask, is anybody else using, it's a Viking Epic, right?
Yes, Epic 3. I can also
Yeah.
call my dealer. I did try to call her, but she didn't answer. So I can also do that. I mean, I can get some help. I thought I would just use your other method, and it worked. But it's a little bit tough to line it up that way when you have it that way.
So Kim says she has a Ruby 90 and she can help.
Ah,
Kim, I'm gonna ask Kim to unmute here.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm doing pajama sewing today, so I'm in my pajamas. So just bear
Okay.
with me. What I'm gonna do is go into the embroidery on my machine so I can tell her what to do. Okay, when you load a design in, it's gonna take you to a screen and come on, cooperate here. And then you push go. So you've loaded your design and normally you would just push go and it will take you to a screen that allows you to select the DSS, whether you want the tie-offs and jump stitches done, etc. But before you push
absolutely.
go down to the bottom part of the screen and you'll see hoop sizes down there. Probably what it's showing is that little bitty hoop for your design. Touch that where it gives the dimensions, which I'm guessing if it's 5 inches, it might be 150 by 150. Anyway, you touch that window and another menu will pop up. And then you can select the size of the hoop that you want.
Okay, down at the bottom. I thought I looked at the whole screen. It showed me what hoop I was using, what foot, and so on. And I tried to change it there, and I tried to go up and get help, but I couldn't find it. But maybe at the bottom of the screen, maybe I missed one of the buttons. I'll go try it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kim.
let me show you. I don't know if I can turn this. I don't ever have good luck turning this thing around. There, okay. Can you see my screen now?
I can, but mine doesn't look
Okay.
anything like that.
It's down here at the bottom. And
Yeah.
see, I pushed that and that's what it will look like when you look at it. It'll just say that the dimensions. Then you tap
Okay.
that and it brings up all of the options you can select from.
Yeah.
Once you
Okay.
select the size of hoop that you want, then you push go, but you have to do this before you push go.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All righty.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
So
you.
Kim,
I'll try it.
You're welcome.
Kim,
You're welcome.
does
Yeah.
the machine not recognize the specific hoop that you've loaded onto it?
No.
Oh, yes. It does.
Well, it does to a certain extent. It will tell you if it's not going to fit in the hoop. But I've not known it to recognize the size of the hoop.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it does. It absolutely recognizes the size of the hoop. It knows
Well,
precisely.
it might, but I'm always plugging in the size of hoop I want, so I don't push it that way, I guess. But
Okay.
the main thing is that you can change it there, and I always change it before I go because I don't like backing up.
Yeah. Well, if I had caught it, if I had listened to the lesson ahead of time and caught it in Sonet, I could have fixed it there and it would have been no problem. It was just that I didn't do that. But I will. I'm improving.
Well, yeah, and sometimes in the software, even though you put in the size of hoop that you want to use, when it loads the design into your machine, it won't always show that. Mine doesn't. Sometimes it will be off. For example, I'm doing Simply Dreaming, and I had one design that would fit in a 200 by 200 hoop, and I really wanted to use a little bit larger hoop. And when I was in my software, I selected that larger hoop, but then when I went to my machine, it wanted to put it back in a 200 by 200 hoop. So The main thing is just check it before you hit go, and then you're good.
Right. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
That is so interesting because on the Bonina machines, you can it knows which hoop is on that you put on the machine.
Absolutely. Mine does.
So
Yeah.
it's very rare that I need to tell it that I'm using a different hoop.
But the thing is that I had it set up to use the bigger hoop with the plastic in it in order for it so it could do the two together, and I was only putting
Right.
one in. And so when the design came in wanting a smaller hoop because the design would fit in a smaller hoop. And so, they always want you to use the smallest one for the most efficient embroidery, right? And so when it came in, it had assigned itself to the smaller hoop. And that's where I ran. And then I couldn't I couldn't make it go to the bigger hoop. I couldn't figure it out. I know it's possible. I know it's user error. I'm sure of it. And I will look a little closer like Kim talked about and see if I missed a button down there, because there's a mass amount of buttons on the machine, and I can say, what do you do?
Yep, definitely. Well, hopefully Kim's Kim's showing you where to look on the screen will help.
Yes, I'm going to try it. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Cool. Well, you are welcome. And remember to post a pic when you're all done with your quilting.
Oh, I will. Once I get it, once I do, I haven't even, once I get the quilting done, then I want to study the sashing training, and I want to try to put not try, when and then I'm going to put the sashing in, and then I will probably post a picture, and then I'll put the back on, just,
Okay. Sounds
but
good.
I went ahead and bought the chest set. I just was brave. When your assistant answered my email, she said, "Don't worry, you'll get there," or something like that. She encouraged me, and so I said, "Oh, okay, I'm going to trust her that I will get there." So I'm anxious to get this one done now, so I can try it.
Well, we are always here first and the third Friday. So if you come across any challenges, you can always come and have a chat. And you can always jump in the Facebook group if you have a question in between Fridays, because there's lots of people in there, and we usually have really good answers pretty fast.
That's good. Yes, thank you.
So you are welcome. Okay. Okay, Sharon. I'm coming to ask you to unmute because you got your hand raised there.
Yes, I have a quick question for you, Sarah. Okay, I'm getting ready to finally start the heart-to-heart quilt. I've been quilting, so I'm almost probably going to finish quilting next week on a quilt. Can you use some of the designs from the original hearts and just downsize them and then adjust the border based on what I learned in your digitizing class?
For
some of the hearts, because I think some of the hearts are almost the same, right, as the original hearts.
They're very similar. The different sizes. There's a couple of the hearts that are almost the same.
Can I just adjust? So I like some of the other hearts. Can I adjust the size of the heart to make it
and
to
then
match
bring it in and just use the quilting?
And use the quilting, right? Adjust the size of the heart on the original one for some of them.
You could do.
And then adjust that, because I think when you said when I originally made the hearts quilt, which is, I don't know if you can see some of the individual blocks, but I have another one.
Yeah, I see the individual blocks.
I downsized it. I took it down to make it fit my hoop. I didn't have any problems with it, stitching, because of that, even though it went down like say 15%, it was still good.
Right.
It was still okay.
Okay. Well, the main thing to look out for would be the satin stitch around the outside edge, because anytime you shrink a design, especially an applique design, the satin stitch will shrink proportionally.
Right, and I didn't have any problem on the quilt, but I know how to fix that now based on I took your digitizing class, so I can go in and fix that. Okay. But I
Okay,
can use some of
okay,
those and just make sure that it's the same size of heart as the heart in the quilt.
yeah. And then you might actually be able to use, so there, let me see, hang tight. I got to get some pictures up here.
Because they're just, some of them are a little different, right? From what because I
Some
pulled
of
them
them
up.
are a little different. Some of them we redigitized to make them a little bit cleaner. We got some new shapes, but I think for the old one, I think if I remember correctly, hearts 1, 2, 3, and 4 correspond shape-wise to some of the original hearts. So if you shrink the original hearts down to the same size, then you should be able to use the quilting for the new hearts,
Okay.
but for the old hearts. And if the shapes don't work out, then there is the quilting design for all of the sizes, which will quilt the full block, right? So you can put the applique, use the full block quilting design, make a copy of it, plop the applique on it, use the triple stitch outline on the satin stitch to create a 1/8 of an inch wide gap between the applique and the quilting. And then you can cut a hole in the quilting the same way that we do in the class, in the digitizing and design masterclass, right?
Right. So like on you had some different shaped hearts on the original that were slightly, they weren't perfect. They weren't perfect. So I could
Do you
use,
want me to show you in the software what I
yeah,
mean?
sure.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to show you in Hatch purely because my Bonina embroidery software is in a state of disrepair right now. I had to uninstall it and I haven't had time to get it reinstalled again. Literally at 11 o'clock this morning, I was uninstalling it because it was not being friendly, let's say, in its interactions with CorelDRAW. So give me a second here whilst I get Hatch up.
Okay. Because I have both sets of hearts, but I like some of the quilting on the original hearts.
Okay. Hang tight 1 second. Where did Hatch go? Is it actually doing anything? It's oh. It's coming. It's taking its time about it, but it is coming. Okay, got it. Let me share my screen here. Over there. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I am going to go to let's see. I'm actually going to go to the original. Okay, so in the quilting folder, you'll see all of the blocks that are basically standalone quilting, and then you've got the on-point quilting for the hearts and the square quilting for the hearts. So are you going to be doing on-point or square?
No, I think it's an on-point quilt.
It is the on-point quilt. So
right.
That actually might make life a little bit interesting. Because now, are you thinking large, medium, or small for the size? Let's say we'll take a medium.
The large for sure.
The large for sure. Okay, so let's I'm gonna take the number 1 heart and so that one is a 10-inch square. We are going to go back.
It would be the same concept for all sizes, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we didn't want
Because I'll
that. We
probably
wanted
go for the small,
that.
medium, and the small too, because I like some.
Okay. My original thought was that you could take any one of these designs, but let's see, we want to be large. But these guys are those guys are for the square orientation, on point orientation. So you might have to do a little bit of fiddling. So let's say if we insert the design for one of the original hearts, let's see, original hearts designs. We will use the VP3, I think. So, is there a particular heart that you're thinking of? Let me just get this.
I can't remember. I was pulling them up last night. I don't.
Let me just pop into the Dropbox and get these downloaded because that will make life a little bit easier here. Just going to download all of them. So for anybody who has a Dropbox, one of the cool things to keep space available on your computer is that you can have everything stored up in the cloud, which is what we do. Otherwise, we would need a super giant hard drive to keep everything. So when I want to use a design that I've got in the Dropbox, I come into Windows Explorer here, and you see I'm right-clicking on the Designs folder, going to the Dropbox menu on my computer, Windows-based computer, and I can say Make Available Offline. And that basically downloads the design onto my hard disk so that it is easy to edit. So let's see. Okay. Did you have a specific heart in mind?
You can just pick any one for now. That's fine.
Okay, let's you know what? I'm gonna go with the curvy heart because that one I know for sure is not included in the original heart in the new hearts collection. And so there isn't going to be any quilting for it. So let's see, we want to shrink this guy down, but we also want to rotate it, and it's going to rotate minus 45 degrees.
Okay.
We'll sit it in the center, and let's say there to there. I think it's actually, well, let's make it 8 inches. That's about the same proportion as the other hearts, right?
Right, right.
You might want it a little tiny bit bigger. Let's make it 8¼ inches. And you want to make sure that you've got this
Okay.
proportional. Now you can see here that there's a little bit of space here where you want quilting and there isn't any. And there's a bunch of space down here where you want some quilting and there isn't any. And if we pop that up to the top, you can, let's see, we've got the quilting down here. There's a actually you know, you want to make sure that you've got a little bit of extra space around here, right?
Right.
So this heart has actually got a not triple stitch, a blanket stitch outline. So we're going to ungroup that, and let's see. This is where life might be a little challenging. The VP3 version has got all of these things in individual stitches. So I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to see if we have any better luck with the Art 6 version. Curvy Heart Big. Okay. Rotate it -45. We're going to center it and make it 8 1/4. And pop it up to the top. Now we're going to ungroup everything. It's doing really funky stuff with this blanket stitch, Sharon. Let's see.
What if we take off the blanket stitch?
You could do that. You could absolutely do that, because it's just doing really strange things with it around here and here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to turn it into a single run. I'm going to make it we haven't got any unused colors. You can see that, let's make it dark. You can see that you've got, it's centered over the blanket stitch, which will also wind up being centered over the satin stitch. So where I would normally make, in order to provide an 1/8 of an inch on either side or on the outside of the applique, I would set the width of the satin stitch to be 0.25. I want it to be a little tiny bit bigger than that. So let's say we make it 0.3 inches. If we send that back up to the top and make it that color. So now can you see you've got a gap between the edge of the blanket stitch, right?
Right.
So I would actually be more inclined to shrink the applique design in the machine.
Okay.
Rather than in the software, because I think that will keep the blanket stitch intact. Okay, so now we're gonna unhide that. Now you can use, and let's hide this guy here, that blanket stitch. Now you can easily tidy up the edges around here, right? And I literally would I would zoom in a bunch and take them one at a time. Right?
Okay.
To bring them down, rather than taking a knife to it, because if you take the knife to it, you'll wind up with a bazillion pieces that aren't connected. And similarly, if you do a remove overlaps, you'll also end up with a bunch of lines that are unconnected. Whereas if you do it this way, it might take you a little tiny bit longer, but it will end up with a much nicer stitch out.
Okay.
So once you've done that, you've then got the challenge of how do you fill in these empty bits. So what I would do is insert a quilting design. So I'm going to go back to heart to heart quilting, and I'm going to pick out one of the blocks, and let's see. Going to take a large heart block corner, which has got the same, and let's change the color on that so that we can be very clear about what's what. Let's see, we want that to be rotated by 180 so that we got it over here. But you can see that that is, or it can certainly be arranged so that you got the right over the quilting design, right? They lay on top of each other. That bit there.
Right.
So what you can do is scoot that over. Until you get it aligned there, right?
Right.
And now I would go to the pink, which is what you want to keep, and start moving the end nodes and put the curved nodes in as necessarily, and kind of trace it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So many things that you can do.
Okay.
After taking the Digitizing and Design Masterclass, right?
Right. I just have to go back.
Because you know how to do these things.
Well, like I said, I have the base. I have the idea, and I can go back to my notes, and I think I could figure it out.
I think you can figure it out.
It took me a lot longer than you. Okay.
Well, you have to kind of just be prepared to sit, and if you just take it slowly, it's not a race.
Right.
I think people, it's really interesting as I was teaching the Digitizing and Design Masterclass, and people were seeing how long it does take to do some of the things. Digitizing isn't necessarily a speedy experience. So you kind of have to make it into a meditative experience.
Right. For you, it's a speedy experience, not for us.
It's not a speedy experience for me either. So, but it's well worth, you can really, you can really do some magnificent things.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I will experiment. Yeah, I will. Like I said, I want to use some of the hearts from the original hearts.
Okay.
Well,
let me know how you get on, because you can always come back.
I probably won't be starting for my quilt for another week or so, about a week, maybe 3-4 days. I have to finish quilting a quilt, which I've been working on for like a month, almost a month now. It's really slow.
That's okay.
We'll
be back.
It's all free motion, and it's rulers and free motion, and it's just a lot of work. Yeah.
But it's going to be beautiful when you're done, right?
Well, I'm trying to get some stuff off my plate so I can eventually finish the yellow submarine. So I can start on it. But like I said, I want to start this embroidery too. So
one day at a time.
Right.
And it all comes together. But still let me know how you get on when you do get started.
Tucson is still too hot for me. Okay.
Apparently they had tornadoes in Tucson last week. Heather said that a bunch of the city was without power because they had 2 tornadoes come through. And Jasmine drove over yesterday. So we've had cat adventures this last week in the Vedler family. Even though the cats are in Tucson with Heather, it's like the cats, they're like her kids. So she actually came on Friday last week with the cats because she was going to a concert with Jasmine here in Phoenix and staying over. So the cats came, and she called me. She was trying to get the cats into the kennel to bring them here, and she's like, "Mom, Gil can't stand up. I don't know what to do." I was like, "Well, you need to take him to the vet." And she wound up calling the vet, couldn't get him in until Tuesday, and figured that she could pick him up and put him in his kennel even though he couldn't stand up. So the cats arrived. Sure enough, Gil, he would stand for a second, he would attempt to move, and then he would collapse in a heap on the floor. So she finally took him to the vet on Tuesday, discovered that his hip bone and femur have gone like that and snapped. It's like, how the heck did that happen? So the cat went in for surgery on Wednesday, and I get another message from Heather. It's saying that they haven't done the surgery because Gil crashed when they put him under the anesthetic.
Oh, God.
So they
Oh,
had
my.
to bring him out of anesthetic because they didn't have an anesthesiologist there who could give him the medicine to keep him under long enough to get the surgery done. So the poor guy is still wobbling around with a broken, literally snapped femur and hip bone, waiting for his hip replacement surgery now next week. So that's been kind of an interesting happening in the Vedler family this last week. Anyway, and there goes the dog because somebody's walking by outside. Okay. I'm excited to see how you get on with this, Sharon.
I'm just gonna start with the cutting, and
no matter when it happens, you let us know how you're getting on with it, okay?
once I get going, I'm focused, but it's getting
Yeah,
focused.
and you'll do just fine.
I know.
Okay. Good to see
Have
you.
a fun move. Have a fun move. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, having a fun move. That is going to be an interesting experience. Can you guys hear the dog busy barking? Ruthie, would you please be quiet over there? That is the one advantage of this microphone, in that it has a limited range of the sound that it will actually pick up. So she could be barking over there and you guys probably would not actually be able to hear her. Okay, let me see. In the chat, Linda, would I consider videotaping lessons for the butterfly quilts? I bought both designs, but I'm intimidated by the instructions and I only have enough material to complete the design and no room for mistakes. Let me see, Linda, coming here, ask you to unmute here.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, how are you? Let me just get you added to the spotlight here. Why can I not? Oh, you are not. Are you able to turn your video on?
I don't know how to do that.
Are you on your computer?
Yes.
Okay, so down at the bottom of the Zoom screen, you should have the bottom left button says audio, and the next button along probably says start video.
Yes.
So
Like
just
that?
click on that button.
Okay.
There you go. And now, did it add you? It did add you to the spotlight. I think you have your video camera covered
Oh,
up.
okay. Let me try that. Okay. Oh, that's
There
scary.
you are. Hi there.
Hi.
Okay, so the butterfly quilts. It's not on my agenda anytime soon to do any videos, but we've actually had lots of requests for videos. So maybe one of these days, it's a possibility, but I want to get you started.
Okay.
And also let you know that there are lots of people who have made the butterfly quilts. And if you were to pop into the Facebook group and say, help, I'm working on the butterfly quilt, you'd have lots of people jumping in and giving you some good how-to advice. So what are you specifically wanting to make, the big butterfly quilt?
I wanted to do the wall hanging, but I
Okay,
wanted to
with
do
the big
the
butterfly, the butterfly 100.
yes, yes.
Okay, literally take it, just read the instructions one step at a time. And I'm going to give you a link to a video which will show you how to do the applique. So as long as you've got the instructions in front of you that says stitch this design here, then the video that I'm going to show you, it's not the butterfly quilt, but the technique is exactly the same, regardless of which applique project you're working on, okay?
Okay.
So let me just, I got to get this. We've got so many videos in here now. I really think I need to put this one video in a playlist by itself or something, because it would make it a lot easier to find. Okay, hold on. Here. Okay, so in the chat, there is a link to a video which is called How to Position a Machine Embroidery Design Exactly Where You Want It. It's actually showing you using the Sunshine Cove designs, but it works for the butterfly, or it works for everything. It works for any design. So the butterfly specifically, you're going to start out by piecing the borders, right?
Okay.
And then based on the exact size of the borders, you'll cut your center. You'll add the borders to it. You'll mark up the stabilizer. And then you get to choose, do you want to do the quilting first and then the applique, or do you want to do the applique first and then the quilting?
I thought it might
So,
be easier to do the quilting first and then put the applique in it.
okay, so you've made that decision. So you're going to make the borders first, cut them to size, add them to the center, then follow the instructions for how to do the quilting first, and then follow the instructions for how to do the applique. Now, what has come to light over the last couple of months, because we've had quite a few people working on the butterfly, when you are piecing the borders, you want to make sure that you've got your 1/4 inch seam spot on.
Okay.
So we've had a couple of people who have been wondering why their quilt wasn't the right size, and it's because their seam allowance went haywire when piecing the borders. Okay, so
Okay.
I highly recommend that you actually with some scraps of the same fabric, do a test on your 1/4 inch seam. So if you take 2 pieces that are, let's say, 3 inches tall and 1.5 inches wide, if you sew them together with a 1/4 inch seam and then press the seam to one side, then you should end up, let's see, what did I say? You've got 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, 3 inches tall. So by the time you've taken off a 1/4 inch seam on both of them, you've got 1 1/4 times 2, so 2.5, right?
Right.
So with your 2 pieces, 1.5 inches wide, 3.5 inches tall, stitch them together with a 1/4 inch seam, press them open, and you should end up with something that's 2.5 inches wide and 3 inches tall.
Okay.
And you want to adjust your pressing and your seam allowance until you get those measurements, right? And then you should be able to confidently stitch the borders together and know that everything will come out the right size at the end.
Okay.
Okay. It seems to be the borders have been the biggest challenge. Interestingly enough, once people get to the quilting and the applique, it goes fairly well. So make sure that you've got a good 1/4 inch seam. Pressing can have an influence on how your seam goes, and obviously the actual stitching of it as well will make a difference. So if you're finding that you're short of the 2.5 inches, you might want to be a bit more aggressive in your pressing.
Okay.
And then adjust the seam allowance. Okay.
Mhm.
So basically just do one thing at a time.
Okay.
Is the best. So the next thing, or the first thing for you to do, is test your 1/4 inch seam until you're sure that that's accurate. Then work on the borders.
Okay.
Then refer to the instructions, make sure that you've got everything, a piece of stabilizer marked up properly, and work on the quilting. So depending on how fast you go, we'll be back here in 2 weeks. So I don't know if in 2 weeks you'll be able to get the piecing done and
Okay.
maybe be ready to do the quilting,
That
or
gives
if
me
you want to
something
go
to
a bit
try.
faster than that. But
Okay, I'll give it a try.
if you would like a challenge, I'm going to say come back in 2 weeks with the background and the borders all put together, and we can have a talk about how to do the quilting. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. You got a date then.
Thank
2
you.
weeks from today, which is August 1st.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay, so 2 weeks from today it is very definitely August 1st. And the reason that I know that, actually, you know what? Is it really August 1st? Maybe. No, it's August 2nd. Oh my goodness. Okay. Because we are moving on the 31st. I'm glad I looked at the calendar, which is a Wednesday. We're closing on Thursday, moving the following Wednesday. So that is actually good because it gives me 2 days. Well, it gives me an extra day to figure out getting set up so that I can do a Zoom call with you guys on that first Friday of August. So, if you are not registered for the free digitizing class, we are going to have a ton of fun. I got some really fun stuff to let you guys know about during that, so you definitely want to be there. The link is at the top of the chat. I'm going to pop it in at the bottom as well, just in case. So make sure that you are registered. That is going to happen at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, July 25th. And that timing is basically to keep me busy whilst I'm waiting for the house to close. So it's going to be a fun time all around. And then if you can't make that date, then Monday the 29th at noon, we'll still be in this house, and then we get to move on the Wednesday the 31st. So 2 weeks from today we will be in the new place, and I will at least have my laptop out and the video camera, and so we will be here to Zoom. So hopefully see you guys on Thursday for the free digitizing class. Have a cool weekend. It's ridiculously hot here. But hopefully somebody somewhere is having a cool weekend, and I will see you this coming